Hello.
Hello, can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you.
Awesome. Sorry about my voice today.
That's okay.
Uh,
My voice will probably be the same.
All right. Yeah, I'm just getting over sinuses. So I was planning to stream this week, but it's not gonna happen.
Too bad.
Um, all right. So how have your games been going? Let me actually.
Pretty good. Let's see. You want to look at the blog post?
Yeah.
Okay. First of all, I'm coming to you from a brand new Mac, which is nice. Um,
Nice.
and I streamlined this post because I figure I don't really need to put that much in here now that you're using the spreadsheet to get started. So I just have the list of activities so you can glance at that. My win
Mm.
loss ratio this week was 6 wins, 4 losses, and my essential go activities are still a third of the total time. Total time was down to about 33 hours instead of 40. It feels more doable. And I don't know, I'm going to try to stay between 30 and 40. And I was still able to keep essential go activities at a third of that and live play at more than 50% and Sumigo and game review split between the rest.
All right. Um, as always, you have very good studies habits.
Yes.
It looks like the results are decently good.
Yeah, I think so. And it's interesting. You may have noticed I posted to the Go group asking about getting SGF files for Tigum games because I can't download them from
Mm-hmm.
the iOS app. And a friend did provide me with SGF files. He downloaded the GIB, I think they're called,
Mm-hmm.
files and converted them, and they are available. However, after looking at my games this week, I'm thinking that the most productive thing to do might be to look at the loss to Drooch, which I actually did post about on Facebook as a separate post. I don't know if you saw it or not, but um, I did resign this game, keeping in mind what you said about, well, you shouldn't have big losses, uh, do a last ditch effort and then
Mm-hmm.
resign. Well, I did that, except I forgot the last ditch effort because
Oh, yes, I did see this one where you actually had
you
a
did
chance to
see it.
kill.
Yeah, exactly. And so,
So
what I'd like
actually,
to do.
if you look at the graph, it actually says with that chance to kill, you're up by 8.3. So that means your last ditch effort actually worked.
Oh, you mean, well, the reducing, well, oh, you mean with the kill. I'm
Yeah.
up by that much. Yes, so the last ditch effort would have worked if I'd made it, but I didn't make the last ditch effort.
Mm-hmm.
I found the vital point during the game, and then I hesitated to play it um, because I didn't think it worked. But I do believe if I had played it and he responded in either of the ways he could have, I probably would have seen the continuation. But I didn't do it. So I didn't follow through. But I felt good about the fact that I reduced from the outside and I actually did identify the vital
Mm-hmm.
point. So that was a plus. But the reason I thought it would be good to look at the game isn't so much for that, because you've seen that anyway. But I thought it might be nice to look and see how I got in the position of being
Review
behind and
started.
and needing to kill, um, because
Okay.
he's an opponent that I face periodically in free league games and also league games. And there is another game at the very bottom of this week's list with him that I actually won. And so I thought it might be nice to look at both of them and to see. In the last game, there is end game, so it might be worth looking at that. And also um, to discuss how I might play in the opening at the bottom. He tends to put us in the same position in the opening. And I don't know whether I've chosen the correct um, place to play in that position or
Hmm.
whether there might be a different option. And bearing in mind that he does watch all of my lessons
Okay.
and
I
will profit from the review.
mean, that's fine. Learning with other people is fun.
Yeah.
I did start a review,
Okay, I will go to it.
and were you able to get the review from last week?
Okay.
Did you start your own review, or did you? There it is. Okay, I see you now.
I'm in yours.
Did you see my review that I sent you last week?
Uh Let me see. I don't know what you mean.
I I thought I messaged you a. Maybe I didn't. Did I not send you the link to the video from last time?
The I did watch the lesson, if that's what you mean. Yes, I watched the
Okay.
lesson.
Okay.
Yeah. When you said review, I thought you ment like an SGF file or
Oh
something.
no, I wanted to make sure that you got the recording.
Oh, I did. I did, and
Okay.
it was great.
All right. So you are black. Um. Okay.
Okay. So now
Uh.
here, basically, the first time we played, um, I ended up playing at 03 here, and he ended up pincering
Well, let's
at
just
M.
start with. Is the bottom side the open side?
Uh, it's well, the open side is either the right or the top. Except I'm afraid if he gets to play more here, this is going to get to be huge.
Yeah, but that's middle game problems, isn't it?
I guess it is. Okay, so then maybe I shouldn't even be playing there.
So let's say that I play here, and Y plays
Okay.
here, and then I play here, and then Y plays here. Okay, who got more?
It's looking like black got more.
Mm-hmm. So you don't even have to worry about the big area until it's time for the big area. There are exceptions, but it's not common. So this is a little bit early.
Okay, so I don't even need to play there.
Um, Playing on the bottom, this is fine. So is approaching, honestly, but I think this is just too early.
And by the way, there are comments in the SGF file, and they
Mm,
were all made by kibitzers during the game or by Drooch and myself. He tends to talk a bit, and I tend to respond,
yeah.
but I tried to keep it at a minimum.
Yeah, usually you don't talk during the game, but I mean it's fine. Making friends is always fine, right? Just
Well, see,
but usually you want to
five out of
focus.
and five of my games this week out of 10 were with AYD people,
Mm,
so it's almost inevitable that there's going to be some talk.
mm-hmm. Mm. I'm wondering if this is worth playing or not. It might be. I don't know. I'm trying to decide if. Do you remember the Shigo lecture? If finishing this corner is worth it or not,
Uh-huh.
because it makes you strong and it creates Aji for white. Uh, but at the same time, for white fixes, I mean, I don't think it's that bad. So maybe just fix is worth it.
Okay.
Hmm. I'm worried about the bottom group a little bit, but okay. I think the right side's too nice, so you have to play this one.
Okay.
Be very careful here. You're going to attack yourself. So if white blocks like this, you see how you're losing your base on the bottom?
Oh yeah, yeah. The skirt's
Mm.
open.
So you have to run away. And if you try to cut immediately, you see the bottom group just gets weaker and weaker and weaker. So it's a difficult
Right.
fight for you. I mean, it's also difficult for white, so it's not like It's white's first instinct, but you got to be very cautious about things that survive in a way that takes the other base. So maybe just here.
Disconnected.
I think this one makes a little bit more sense.
Okay.
Because if you do it this way, then you see he never gets that second light stone. But I mean, yeah, just survive. Just I'm trying not to attack myself. That's the problem.
Playing a game?
Reviewing a game for someone. Um. Yeah. Now white comes in with this. This is. Uh. This is what I was worried about. I feel like we should have defended from before this point. So like right here, I really just want to fix.
Oh, yeah.
Just be done, right? Remember the Clossi approach?
Right.
Just
Right.
defense, and then you can move on.
Yeah.
And-
Now you realize that even though that's the best thing to do, that it runs a little bit counter to what I've been trying to do, which is to not ever protect. So it's hard for me to make the distinction.
The
You know.
distinction, well, like with everything, it's if you do it too much, it's bad. If you do it too little, it's bad, right? So it's finding that balance. The hint here is that with a two space jump like this, when there is a stone on both sides, you need another move. Now,
Right.
before this point, there was things that you were trying to be interesting about. So, for example, if you go here and white goes here, and you go here and white goes here, then maybe it's just too slow, right? So you
Mm-hmm.
have to be careful about that. So it's a balance. Um, but maybe like this is better than going into the 3-3
Right.
because the 3-3 affects your group, but this one,
Right. I get an extension on both sides.
yeah, you don't really affect the bottom group so much. As soon as you do, you just live. So it's about it's not about over defending. It's about watching your weaknesses. And then, as Shigo said, if you want to just spend a move to fix it, just fix it. But what about just going here, making this exchange?
Yeah.
Sure, white gets a move, but now you have no problems.
Right.
I don't know if this is exactly what he meant, but it's just the idea of let's just spend a turn to defend it. Right? It's just defense first. Uh, it's defend what is weak, but don't defend what's strong. And it's a balance. So at this point, white feels a little nice, but white's also doesn't have perfect shape, so it's probably still close.
They playing role playing games or
This is a board game.
oh, it's a board game?
Mhm.
Okay.
Um, I like this. You immediately got some eye space. I would just Nobi.
Okay.
This one feels a little Ajikeshi, but it's okay. Just defend it, Sente. Oh, aren't you alive?
I guess I am.
Do you read it?
No, I did not.
Hmm. There's that over defense.
Right.
It's so I guess to clarify, over defense is defending without thinking. You have to think
Right.
yes or no, and you have to think about it.
Okay. I guess I was worried about white playing P2.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, but then I still live.
Mm-hmm. The reduction is here,
Right.
and that's a living shape. Makes sense.
Yeah, it does.
So this one's too much.
Right.
Yep. Like it's a delicate balance. The stronger you get, the harder that balance is to find. But it's a very delicate balance. You've definitely improved on it. Yeah, still a little. This one's too much.
Uh-huh.
Okay, so you're definitely alive. So top left now. Hmm. I want some sort of double attack. How can I double attack? Pincer. Mm-hmm. Hmm. Can I go here and just do that?
Yeah, I guess so.
Okay, let's see how this goes. Hmm. This can't be right.
This did this did not work out well.
Yeah, this can't be right. You have to at least go here and then do
Mm-hmm.
that.
I mean, I was wondering, do you all sell cases for the Moto E?
Yeah, this. You can't play this way. This is unplayable.
Okay.
Okay.
What about just the Moto E itself, the new one that just came out? All right, thank you.
Life, good.
Well, it came out it came out December
Okay,
of
we have a weak group,
2020,
so we
and
want to play
then it
defense.
came to stores 2021. So yeah.
Hmm. Possible.
Well, I don't know. Hold on 1 second. I have to go to the.
We have a weak group, so defense. Why do you keep playing so loose?
Um, you mean the connection
Model
between
number
that
is the
stone and the F12
XT2052-1.
is not so good?
Well, I mean, this is very speedy, but it also has a lot of Aji for that speed.
Mm-hmm.
So what is the reason? What is the basic? What are we doing?
205
I
XT205-1.
I feel as if I need to make a larger space for myself, and that if I move out too slowly, I might not get enough space.
Okay, so if I just play
205.
a 1 point jump,
Uh-huh.
you worried about cap?
Yeah.
I guess it's okay because I can then play J9, which is too speedy.
I mean, I can come in and look. How much do your
Well, the
cases
basics
normally
are
run?
1 point jumps, right?
Right.
So whenever we don't play basics, we need a good reason.
All right. Thank you.
Oh, okay.
So it's always basics, and then if we want to defy the basics, what's our reason? And the reason here is White's getting a massive Moyo. That's the
Well,
reason.
exactly. And so basically
So what
my
about here?
move at okay, that would be better. The move at J11 was a reduction as much as it was an extension of the group.
Hmm. Well, my concern is right here you ran down,
Yeah.
and then right here you ran right.
Okay.
So-
So if I'm going to be running, maybe I should be running in the same direction.
Well, when we run, we want to be solid and usually consistent, but there's many exceptions. There's many things that go into attack and defense, right?
Right.
So the question is, what are we doing, and are we doing it? Okay, that's the question. So we're running, okay? The connection is definitely forcible. There's a lot of questions, okay? It's probably okay, but there's questions. More questions than a 1 point jump. So, okay, then why do we do it? Well, I want to play a reduction move on the right. Okay, did you do that? Yes, no. And that's the way you arrive as, is this a good move or a bad move? So when I ask you, and like, okay, what are you doing? That's what I want to hear is I'm running while reducing,
Okay.
or just running. The
Yeah,
question.
I think running and reducing were both in my mind at that point.
So my thinking is the right side's getting very large.
Yeah.
I want to go like over here, but I'm going to get 2 weak groups.
Exactly.
So is there any way I can fix that? Okay. So I'm looking at here. I'm looking at here. I'm looking at here. I'm looking at your move. I'm looking at attachments. And that's where I'm at. So I just want to make sure that you understand what you're doing, because what I see is two back to back two space jumps. Okay, I want to make sure that you have a good reason for doing that, because technically it's not basics.
Hmm.
So if we're not playing basics, we need to have a good reason. Hmm. So we're supposed to play defense, but we're gonna lose if we don't do something about the right.
Exactly.
I don't know if this is gonna work. This looks cuttable. Maybe here.
Now, isn't that cuttable too?
Yeah, but I'm trying to use Aji. I'm trying to use the Aji here, but honestly, I don't know what the answer is.
Yeah, it was beginning to feel like a lost game at this point.
Mm-hmm. This is too slow.
Okay.
Okay, so let's identify. How did we not get over there? Ah, this. This. Like, we had control of this area. If you look right here, black has control of this area.
Hmm.
And then white runs, we cap. White runs, we cap. So we're never worried about it. And also, if you notice, remember that bottom side? And how I said the right side was bigger?
Right.
Um,
Oh, so there's the door line right there.
hmm Well, it's just, remember the opening you were playing on one side because that was what they were getting? Well, they got something else somewhere else. Because you took the bottom, they're going to go get it somewhere else.
Right.
So if they're going to get it somewhere else, then why don't you just play the normal?
Take it somewhere else in the first place.
Yeah. Just get the bigger things. Just because you take A, there's usually B. So you want to make sure you take the bigger one.
Yeah, so the biggest problem was that I misidentified the appropriate place to play early in the opening.
Honestly, I think your game's not that bad, because even here, it's pretty close. Probably White's a little ahead because he played a couple of slack moves, but White has a lot of weaknesses too. Like the bottom left corner isn't alive. He has two weak groups in the top left. So honestly, it wasn't that bad up to this point. And I think if we go back and look at the AI graph, um, yeah, it was actually pretty close to that point as well. White didn't get a lead until you wasted a move on the bottom right. But even then, it looks like White only had a 3 point lead up until your big blunder. At that, White got a 12 point lead, and 12 points at this level is a lot. So here, White has a 12 point lead, and then it fell downhill
Hmm.
because you were trying to make use of any Aji you could, and actually you lost track of the big picture.
Right.
Um, so I think the bigger issue is just you made a mistake and White gained the lead. Before this point, it's like up right here. It's just White has 3 points on you. That's really
Okay.
close. It's a good game. So you just made one mistake. I say one, um, but usually it's just one big mistake that happens a lot. Like the stronger you get, the less the less obvious it becomes on what's wrong, because it's no longer just like giant basic concepts. It's more of just a couple of exchanges.
Right.
So like this one was just unplayable, and now White has a big lead. You tried to make up for it, and White countered you very solidly, and there was just nothing to do.
Right.
So I don't I don't think I don't think basics wise you made any mistake. You just made a bad a bad exchange right here. You just got cut when you shouldn't have got
Right. Right.
cut. But overall, I don't see any like major basic mistakes. So
Well, that's good to know.
I wouldn't overthink it. It was just you made a mistake. Of course, your opponent's going to win if you make a mistake. Your opponent had
Right.
strong follow ups.
Unless, of course, I managed to kill a group that I should have.
I mean, yeah. Um, the the reason that happened is because your opponent kept leaving a lot of weak groups laying around, and it just happened to backfire finally. Um, that's what your opponent has to work on is leaving weak groups everywhere. But your opponent handled your mistake quite nicely, and then ran with the lead and just made it bigger while you were struggling to figure out what to do to catch up.
Right, right. And then I
Um,
counted the board, and I figured, okay, time to resign
hmm um,
because I didn't see the kill. I mean,
technically you should have.
I didn't follow through on the kill.
Technically you should have counted right here and said, okay,
Oh,
um, I'm gonna lose if I don't do something. So let's maybe skip defense or maybe defend while attacking, and maybe start this.
right,
Or maybe we
right.
say, I'm gonna do this, and then I'm gonna go over here, and I'm just gonna handle that top
Okay.
left group.
So sacrifice the 4
No,
stones.
not
And,
sacrifice.
oh,
Just
really?
you know how dealing with one group is possible. Dealing with two is really hard, right?
Right,
But it's not impossible. So it's a great all or nothing plan. It says, I'm going to deal with two weak groups. Probably it's not going to work out, but if it does, I'm back in the game.
okay,
So if the right's too big, but basics tells you to defend, but you're going to lose if you defend, well then just don't do it, right? Basics are
right,
great, but if you're losing, you're losing. And
right,
the reason the times when basics don't work is when you've made a mistake. Basics work if you don't make mistakes, but if you made a mistake, then there's ways to like encourage a mistake from your opponent, but those aren't basics. Those are just trick plays and stuff, right? Technically not
right,
basics. So this is
right,
kind of one of those like, okay, well, I'm gonna lose if I play normal. Of course, normal's best, ideally, but I got to do something. So maybe make two weak groups and just destroy the Bay Area. You're likely going to lose, but it's a good all or nothing plan. This one was probably too much, and then White kind of ran with the lead here, which is nice. And yeah, it's just it feels so difficult. Probably here I'd just keep going in. I just
right.
maybe just deal with it. Actually, what does this move do?
It really, let's see, I still have the capture at K1.
Hmm.
Okay,
So this is what he's looking at, right?
all right.
And you just do that.
And I go.
You could also just play here.
Right. And then I get my second eye.
So you're actually alive. So you have to look for a chance for Sente. Usually when you're behind, you just have to really, really focus and look for a chance because your opponent will give you a chance because they can't play perfectly. It's all about you being strong enough to notice that chance and not giving your opponent any more. So it's playing super, super correct, super accurate, and not missing the opportunities that your opponent gives you. But what you don't want to do is give your opponent more opportunities when you're already losing, like this.
Right.
Um, and yeah, it just didn't work out. Your opponent played. Once your opponent gets the right side, it's over. At this
Yeah,
point,
exactly.
like probably just resign or try to kill something, and maybe just.
And yeah, well, I did try to kill something. And I didn't follow through.
Hmm. That's tricky.
Well, the thing is, it does work, except I didn't play the vital point when I should have,
Hmm.
because after that, G17 works.
Yeah, no, you can definitely kill him.
Yeah.
Um. Anyway, so you said you had a second game you wanted to look at.
Yes, and it's the last one on the list. of this week with Drooch again.
Hmm.
Review started.
All right. So you're black.
And this is a different kind of game. We have you know, a lot of activity going on in the middle of the board
Mhm.
in this game.
Um. So you know in the opening how you have A, B, and C and D and stuff like these are all the options you kind of have for the open sides, and let's even
Right,
include yours E and F and G. If you're playing the same guy over and over, just pick a different one. Don't play the same game.
right. Yeah, exactly.
Learn something
I
new.
was yes, right. Now, of course, I'm still playing Hoshi, and I will be throughout the month.
Yeah, I mean no,
But
like
that
but
doesn't mean I can't play A now. I can play A now.
yeah, but like you played E last time. Why play
Actually, it
E
was
again?
L. Was it L?
Hmm?
Or did I play? I think I played L
There is no
because I
L.
wanted to. L3. I made a note of
Oh.
L.
Oh, oh.
I don't think it was E because I wanted to have a two. I
Oh.
wanted to have a 2 point extension on either side of the stone.
Yeah, but you play. Oh, yeah, yeah, yeah. Sorry, sorry. I put it on the wrong spot.
Right. That's what I thought.
Whatever. The point is, you have more than one correct, more than one good move. Just
Right.
pick a different one.
Okay. I'll pick
As
a
long as
different
it,
one next time.
as long as it's the correct direction to play, you don't have to play the same game.
Right.
Like Pincer this time. If you're playing the same game, it's too boring.
Well, this does turn out to be quite a different game.
Oh, hey, you did this. You did this one this time. Oh, and you defended, so you learned from your mistakes,
I guess I did, subconsciously. It was
and you
not a.
got to the big move this time.
Yeah. See, it is a different game.
But yeah, it's a very different game now. Uh, is
This
this
is
the?
kind of funny that it's kind of funny that I did those things, and I never actually focused in on them in my review, but
Mhm.
must have been something in my head that planted that thought.
So what? So why here? What is our goal?
Um, I guess I felt like I needed to do something to help that group, but
Okay.
I'm sure that S18 would have been a lot better choice.
You mean the top right group?
Yeah,
Mega base.
well, that's true too. And that's dual purpose.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you're. I think you're making it too complicated. Just do the
Yeah,
job. And if you can do
right.
something else while doing it, great. The reason I don't like this one is because normally you want to double honey, but that clearly doesn't work on this one.
Right.
So usually wouldn't you want a 1 point jump? And then why are we even playing right there? Like I say a weak group. And if you want to play at the top right for defense, make a base and Sente.
Right.
This is a bad kick. He's not pincered. So why are we kicking?
Well, I figured that I was going to get to play L. Oh no, I wasn't going to because I have to play D14. So
Uh-huh.
no, it was a bad decision. And then he immediately jumps in, and I mean, I knew that that was going to be an option, but I didn't expect it right away. I
Mm,
kind of thought that I might get the chance to play E18 eventually to protect it.
well, this is wrong.
Yeah, I have to study this invasion. I do not handle it well.
Yeah, his move's just wrong. It's here And then you have the option of here or here. And then white has Yosei options. You have here. You get the corner.
Yeah, that's what I need to study.
Yeah, this move's actually not that scary as long as you know the follow-ups. So
As problem is, I don't know the follow-ups well enough,
yeah,
and I should
yeah, but
at
this
this point.
this move I'm pretty sure is just wrong.
Yeah, isn't
If
it
I'm
E8?
wrong, then like by all means show me. But I'd never see
No,
this move.
I think you're right. And so basically, White should have played E18, right?
Yeah, I don't think him playing it right now is that bad because I mean he gets defense for his group. Maybe not what I would play, but it's not that unheard of. But I don't think I've seen this move.
What time do you guys close?
That's a lot of Aji, but okay. We just want defense, so let's just fix, fix. I don't know, just start fixing stuff. I love just fixing stuff. I like the pincer here.
Disconnected.
That's a that's just a free exchange,
I did eventually do that, I believe.
and then just fix,
We need something to flood in, so we might come over.
fix, 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 and you're done, and move on.
Mm.
Okay.
Alright.
No, actually, I guess I didn't do it because something else happened later on.
Okay, so top left is alive. Top right, I guess we're assuming it's alive. What about here? I don't know, something like that. Just get control of the center.
Okay.
Like peep, like there's two ways to take a nice move. It's cut or peep. So what about just using the peeps to get control of the center?
Sounds good.
Why are we defending again? Did you read Life and Death?
I I guess I just reverted to my old ways, I believe.
So over defense, your habit is you're defending without reading.
Yeah.
Read it. Is there two eyes? Yes or no?
Yeah, and there's no excuse for not reading it because it was a 40-minute game.
Do you see two eyes?
I see. Well, let's see. B16 is an eye for sure. And yeah, there's going to be another one at A18, I guess.
A19 as well.
Yeah.
Try to take A19 as the eye. Can you do it?
No, because, well, actually, you mean white. Can white do it?
Mm-hmm.
If white plays B19, black, yeah, black can do that. And then, of course, white's going to lose 2 stones or 1 stone, depending on how he responds.
So
No.
that's one eye.
So it's just as
That's
alive
two
as
eyes.
it can be.
Maybe 3 eyes. Or maybe 3 eyes right here.
Okay, yeah, way overprotected.
Yep. If all the trick isn't to defend or not defend, it's read it out is alive because you surrounded. It's a life and death problem. You just got capped. You were surrounded. Life and death. Do you have to defend? Yes or no? That's the habit you need to build. Don't just defend. Don't just tanuki. Read it. Single digit Q. You gotta read. Oh, we just lost all those peeps. Okay. Please tanuki. Okay. Why here?
Well, I knew he was going to throw in another stone, and
Throw in
I
a
mean,
stone
it
where?
was after I played D3, he's going to play C2.
No, he's not.
Oh, yes, he is, because that's what Insang tells us to do.
Wait, he doesn't say do this move?
Uh, well, maybe in that situation he would, but he tells us that when your opponent cuts the C3 stone, that you're supposed to
Uh,
sacrifice another one, and
yes.
it has something to do with endgame.
Yes, no, that's absolutely true. I'm saying this situation has no relevance to anything. I want the giant Maya.
You want what?
You two, like, the problem with the bottom left isn't the local sequence. The local sequence, yes, your Yongu Sing variation is correct. That's not the problem. The problem is the focus of this board is this giant wall versus this giant wall. That's what
Okay,
everyone's invested in. So
okay,
when we come down here, I'm like, I don't care about this at all.
yeah, it's
Locally, I know the variations.
right. It's off topic.
Yeah, it's like, why do I care about that at all? Why? What if I just, make a massive position over here? So no, I'm not saying that this descends wrong. That's correct. That's fine. I'm saying, why are we even over here? Oh, this is exactly what white did. Uh, I would wait to attack the bottom until later. I wouldn't attack the bottom yet. I would just be like, what if I can get away with here? Can I get away with here? And then here? Look at that center.
Yeah, uh-huh.
That's what I'm interested about. There's a thickness facing a thickness. That's what type of position this is. Thickness facing thickness. Whoever takes control first renders the other thickness useless. So, do you know
Right.
that thickness is something that has zero value?
Well,
Thickness as in and of itself does nothing. But thickness threatens to gain a position, to save something, to attack something, and it threatens to do many things. So thickness is great. It has so many ways it can be used. But if you never use it, it's 0 points. It's just the dragon.
right.
So thickness has to be used. So when you have a thickness facing a thickness, that's this big urgent thing. That's what I'm trying to get at here. Is
Okay.
is
So
white
now
can render yours
let's go
useless.
let's go back a second, and if I were to have played there instead of cutting, uh, what would my move have been?
Well, I liked the peeps earlier, but those got fixed. What about just the cap? Just something simple. Like
Yeah, that's what I was
that's basic
thinking.
technically. Usually I want to look for Aji. Excuse me. Usually I want to look for Aji or something or some sort of weak group. Maybe a cut right here would be nice because if we cut off the bottom, then these peeps activate again, and ta-da, we control the center. Or maybe we can get an exchange
Okay.
right here. Like, look for Aji, look for peeps, and then try to use those to make a combination with your thickness. Right? That's the idea. The place your eye should be looking is this area. Okay? You have
Right. Right.
thickness, and you want to make a combination with that thickness. So you want to do something. That is your goal. And the way to be a little bit more effective is if you can use Aji to do it. This is like single digit Q tactics. Use Aji to do your goal better, right? So if
Right.
you can use Aji to do it in a bigger way, yeah, fantastic.
Okay.
But even if you can't find the Aji, just just do something simple. Just use it.
Mm-hmm.
But that's the big move.
Yeah.
That's the next big thing. Um, that's what I think is interesting about this. So so if I'm so I probably need to start wrapping it up. So in the opening, you can play a little bit better direction of play. I mean, it's still good, but it can be a little bit better. You don't have to play the same Joseki or the same variations. In addition to that, it looks like you can play 60 through 90 moves really well, but around the second half of middle game, you do something small or make a mistake and lose the balance. So I would say, in the two games that I'm seeing you guys play, it's more like a balance contest, and you can actually see that in the reflected in the graph as well. This is more of a balance contest. Both of you guys are balanced for a good chunk of the game in the graph, and then somebody falls off. So it's whoever can maintain the balance of the basics longer. So you guys are actually pretty close in level to each other, I think.
Yeah, we are. And in fact, on my chart, on my spreadsheet, what I do is I represent the ranks for the AYD
Mm-hmm.
players. I represent that as the difference in our dynamic AYD ratings because they
Mm-hmm.
change every game.
Yeah.
And so, like when I played this game with him, let me just look at the spreadsheet. Uh, okay, I was at a 3 point disadvantage. 3 points is virtually nothing because 100 points is a rank.
Yeah. So you guys are 3 to 10. So like a tenth of a rank difference.
Um, Actually, less than that. 10 points would be a tenth of a rank difference.
Yeah, and the
Uh,
and the loss though was -10.
um, well, the loss, let's see.
It says
Yeah,
so
it
yeah,
was -10. So
so
we
three
were
to
a
ten.
tenth of a rank. We were a tenth of a rank difference there. And then
Yeah.
we were even less afterwards because somebody had played a league game in the meantime, a real game, and their rating had changed.
Right.
So
So let me
after
go
I
ahead and
won one,
because I know this person's gonna watch this video as well. So let me give you both a little hint for each other. Um,
okay,
your strength is in your defense, but your weakness is you lose some moves sometimes. So if I were you, I would focus on my strength. Read before you before you just defend or don't defend. You need to read your defense,
uh-huh,
and then your opponent's weakness is they leave weak groups a lot.
right,
So I think the best thing to do there is really get to the next big thing and use their weakness to do that goal. Like use their weakness to break into an area. Use the weakness to build an area, right?
right,
They leave a lot of openings, and you don't leave as many. So that's your strength, but you also are a little bit of a slower player. But I think defense is better than uh, like too much defense is better than not enough defense, in my opinion. Um,
right.
Now, on the flip side, for your opponent, they are much faster than you. Well, not much, not much. They're a little bit faster than you. So if they fix their openings, um, and just be patient, I think you tend to trip a lot in the second half of middle game. I think you trip. So if they're patient and wait for you to trip, they'll find their opening. And I want you guys to keep poking at each other's weaknesses until you don't have those weaknesses anymore. Um,
Okay,
and
sounds good.
and that way you guys can like help each other improve at the places you're worse at.
Yeah.
And then you both get stronger, right? Like work on one weakness at a time, and always work on the weakest part of your game. So where's my where's my notes?
Okay. Now,
Read
we
out defense before fixing or leaving. Like you need to know if it's weak or not.
right. Now, let's see. We didn't start until about 10 minutes after the hour. So
Mhm.
do you have a chance to quickly click through more of this? Because I'd like you to see how the middle of the game evolved.
Yeah. Well, I was going to use the last 10 minutes to ask if you had any more questions that I can answer.
Oh, I really don't. So
Okay.
if you can click through the rest of this, that would be helpful.
Okay. So here, White did get to this place first, so it looks like White has a little bit of advantage. But then White played a little bit slack here and let you in.
Hmm.
So like rather than descending, White could have Like maybe going right here. And elephant's eye, we just knights move. So you see it's pretty interesting, right? Or maybe even push and knights move. Or maybe even going like right here or something. I don't know. Or maybe use black Saji in creating something. Something along those lines. I would need to read for a bit to be more accurate, but I think letting black in right here. Now black's catching up a little bit. White still has a slight advantage, but I think black's getting a little bit more control of this. And then you got off the mark, but white's following. This cuts overplay. That's gonna die.
I was actually pleased with the way I handled the complications in the middle of this game.
Yeah, so you played right here, very well. You read this really well. So your reading is, so you read better than white here. White, white tried to cut you in an area that you controlled, and you need to
Right.
have very good reading to be able to do that, because this is very dangerous. Very easily will die.
And that's why I felt free to make the move at J6, because I felt that even if I
Yeah,
got
J6
cut,
wasn't the bad move. The J6 was the bad place. Like the
okay,
top, like this is where you need to be. You're battling
okay,
for control of the center. This, like, then I go here. Here
right.
I go like right here. Who got more?
Well, under these circumstances, white is building pretty well
Right, I think white got
on
just
their
slightly
side.
more, and
Yeah,
that's why this exchange is good for white. So
right,
this is a little bit greedy. So you got an opening here. This is complete overplay. Just
right.
just kill it. White's trying to be too desperate, trying to get value out of this mistake, and giving you more value by accident. White should just back off and cut the losses. Save the Aji for later. This is going to die too. This is probably why white loses the game. You can cut. It's dead. And now your center is bigger than what white could have made even. It still can be cut. Yeah, this is overplay. Careful about your top group. That's that's just a net.
Right.
But white's threatening a bamboo to cut. I see. But the other three stones are going to die. Oh, oh! I thought white was threatening that to
Oh,
cut, but then you just maybe go here. But then that. That might work for white though.
yeah.
I thought that was white's plan. Um, I'm not sure what white's after. There's a double peep right here.
Yeah. And I
Well,
don't
I
think
guess it doesn't work because you just fixed now. Okay, so you don't have enough liberties for it to work now. Is that cuttable?
um
Almost, maybe. I don't know. There's lots of reading things here. I don't think that was a Sente actually.
no.
Let's see.
No, it isn't, because we determined my group was alive anyway.
That's a lot of value. Yep. Yeah, do you have any more questions?
No, I don't have any more questions. I just wanted you to see
Yeah.
the way the game progressed.
This area is why you won, in my opinion.
Yeah.
White got a little greedy, and then It looks like white makes a mistake after a mistake, white has trouble calming down and going back to basics and back to the big picture. White gets too local and kind of makes a small problem really big. But you made a good catch. Um,
Thanks.
yeah, I think the thickness versus thickness was the big thing this game. You both were missing the big thing. Um, this is kind of important down here. Just because you know what the variation is doesn't mean you should tunnel vision on that variation. That's the local variation, and that is absolutely
Right.
true. But if it's not the big picture, then why are you doing it? Like,
Yes.
if this was the big area, yes, this is what you should play. But if it's not the big area, then why are you even over here? Does that make sense?
Right. Yeah. So basically, I'm allowing what I know I should be doing in a certain situation to be misapplied.
Yeah. So don't get. That's one thing about memorizing Josegi's. Just because you know variation doesn't mean you understand the timing or the why or whatever. All right. So yeah, let me send you my notes from today.
Okay. And let's see, you're recording this like you were last week, right?
Yep.
Okay, great.
So I will try to get that to you tonight or tomorrow.
Okay.
All right. So yeah, hopefully you found the lesson helpful, and I will see you when I see you.
I did. Thank you very much.
Have a good one.
Okay. Bye bye.